this year for World Mental Health Day, we decided to do something different. We engaged A-level students at St Ignatius College in Harare. There was dialogue around this year's theme of mental health services during catastrophes and emergencies. The students got to express themselves, tell us their understanding of mental health through drama, through poetry. They were able to express their thinking on mental health and this year's theme.
Tick, revision, talk, repetition, tick, anxiety, talk, catastrophe.
Today we're doing a drama to show about how depression and mental sickness can come in many shapes, forms and sizes. When people talk about being unhealthy or being sick, they normally think of physically, but we are here to show you that it can happen mentally as well.
The overall feedback was overwhelming. It was exam period, but the kids were really engaged. They engaged with the fellows.
It was very important for us to interrupt the study program of our students at this very critical time, because the mind drives everything.
The whole event was quite refreshing, and I think it helps me prepare for the next exam. That I'm a bit calmer, you know.
This session was very important for our students, especially now that they are in the middle of their examinations. It gets so tensy, they get to be anxious. It gave them an opportunity to relax. Though, of course, in the beginning they thought, what? During exams, we could be wasting our time, but I can see that now they've loosened up and they really think this was a good deal.
So we all know the pressure that comes with writing exams. Pressure at home from your parents, pressure here at school to pass, to make the school name better, pressure at home from your parents to sort of uphold your family traditions of success and all that. So with that pressure in mind, you sort of lose focus of what you want to do. You get very anxious as to if I fear what's going to happen to me, how are they going to treat me, or what's going to happen to me. So that's the pressure you sort of be facing with these kind of situations.
So today we learned about mental health, and I've realized us as students, much of the time we don't talk about these conversations. So this conversation, especially with this exam preparation, I thought it made me calm and relaxed, so that when I get into my next exam tomorrow, I'll be prepared and, you know, composed.
What I really liked about today was that we got to understand a different set of risk factors for this population, which means that, you know, the interventions that we're going to bring as clinical psychologists will speak into their needs.
I think as students, like, we don't really talk about what affects us, right? So what's important to us as students is not necessarily, you know, mental health and things like that. Some of the conversations we have with friends or colleagues or classmates are really shallow. And so today was important because sometimes we really forget why it's important for people to be there for each other and people to understand people's mental conditions and stuff like that. So I think it's very important because it blocks out all the noise and it allows us to focus on something that's really important.
Today I learned that it's important to talk to your friends about how you feel. Sometimes we'll really be going through life challenges. Maybe we're experiencing the fact that some of our relatives just died. Sometimes we're struggling with exams and the stress consumes us. So I learned that talking to your friend can really help you.
Mental health is the driver. If the mind is not sound, is not in a position to control and run things, then it's like the person can easily run down.
I think mental health is important because there's certain things we can't forego in life. So there's certain things we can ignore when they're not there, right? So if we don't have the latest car, the latest phone, we can forego those things. But mental health actively takes away from you as an individual, right? So you as a human being, your ability to be able to function and interact with different people, it really affects that. And so it then becomes important to us as young people because without it, like it's a situation of what is life like without it. So when life doesn't have mental health, we really genuinely struggle. And so the alternative should be us focusing on it to see how we can maybe improve the quality and the standard of life.
I think one thing that I really liked is when we went outside and we went to the friendship bench, and then they told us that their therapy sessions are actually for free, and which is something that's actually very rare these days because you have to pay for therapy. So them making it accessible to everyone for free is a really good initiative so that people can talk about how they're feeling.
The youth friendship bench and the services that we offer are for free. Reason being, like in Zimbabwe, you know, for you to get access to a therapist, a psychiatrist or a psychologist is quite expensive. So we are just there to bridge the gap
Today, the interaction has been great, meeting the young people who are going through a very interesting phase in their lives as young adults. And I got an experience to get a glimpse into some of their own experiences. Some of them were a bit shy initially to approach me, but strategically, standing on my own, I found one or two of them coming to talk to me, initially asking about careers within mental health, asking about my career as a psychiatrist, how they can become a doctor. But eventually we found ourselves navigating into even their own experiences, some of them sharing even the challenges they're having with some losses they've had in their life, some of them even sharing and asking about practical tips to deal with the exams that they are going through, what relaxation techniques they can do to manage the anxiety, the stress anxiety.
As I was talking to the young people, the high schoolers, they were telling me that in their communities, mental health isn't really prioritized, that it's seen as maybe kuroiwa or maybe wakupenga or, like, why are you depressed when we provided so much for you, right? You live in a comfortable home, you go to a good school, so you shouldn't be depressed, you shouldn't be anxious. And a lot of them did say in their families, they don't even believe that depression and anxiety are real. So they seem to be quite passionate about the topic of mental health, but they just want their families to also be on the same level. So a lot of them did talk about how they would like their parents to be roped into the discussion of mental health, so that the more their parents are aware of the depression, the anxieties, the easier it becomes to have that conversation in the homes. And the easier it then does become for us as the therapists, as the psychologists, to then intervene when, children come and they say they've got depression or anxiety. Because I do think that it takes a village, it takes a whole community, which is why we're bringing the conversation to the communities.
For young people, I think one of the needs that they have in terms of their mental health is the space. So once you create the space for the young people to sit and talk with you, create a safe space for them, they're going to be open with you and they're going to share a lot and ask questions and all the needs that they have. So the biggest thing that we need to create for young people is a safe space for them to be able to share what they're feeling, the emotions they're going through, and the areas that they require us to be addressed.
So when disability or illness affect you, you might fail to engage in any of those basic activities. If that is when you need me to come into your life and assist you to go back on track and relive life as usual. So that's what I do as an occupational therapist. Thank you. I will also be able to assist individuals who want to follow other career paths in rehabilitation. So I can also talk about physiotherapy, which is our sister profession, which focuses on using physical modalities to again assist individuals to become functional again. I can also talk about speech and language therapy, which assists individuals who have problems with communication, understanding communication as well as speech and swallowing issues. And I can also talk about audiology, which assists individuals with hearing problems.
AMARI, as we say, from the name, African Mental Health Research Initiative, here we are planting a seed to the next generation. We've got students, learners, who are writing the final exit exam for the high school, going to the university, and they need to realize that there is a career path in mental health research. And the day went so well that people were fully engaged, and they actually were able to show us the interest in research, and they realized that, when they saw our different members of staff talk about the careers, they've shown interest in following this career path.